So I've got Omar with Think Media here with me today, and he's going to give you his top 5 tips for how to do video marketing as an entrepreneur. And let me just start off by saying, Omar, your team at Think Media has definitely helped me get this YouTube plaque right here. I've learned so much just watching your guys' channel, so I want to thank you first off for that.
For sure. I mean, it's really cool to always help people, and then I think what's cool about the 100,000 subscriber plaque, it's just this tangible thing that, you know, what I'm doing is actually growing, and it's been cool to see the success of Ryan's channel.
Yeah, man. So let's jump into the tips. What is tip number 1?
Yeah, when it comes to marketing your business online, I think number 1, hands down, you should know that video is probably the best way to market your business. There's just something about what video does and how much you can get across to your potential customers or current customers with the use of video. But my first tip is to, when first starting out, to just choose a platform and focus on that platform. I think 100%, if you would ask me, I would choose YouTube. The reason I like YouTube to put all your eggs in that basket initially is because YouTube is a search engine more than it is a social media platform. So we always would talk about kind of this never-ending cycle of social media, like on Instagram, Facebook. It's like, it's just never ending. It's Reels, it's this, it's that. But what's so cool about YouTube is because it's a search engine, the second largest search engine in the world and owned by Google, which is number 1, is that you can create content and that it can have a life of its own after you create it. I mean, we're talking entrepreneurs. I think that's just a good use of your energy is to put your energy into a video that could potentially rank in search because YouTube is a search engine. But I would just say, pick a platform and then just focus on it for a season.
And I totally agree with Omar there, because YouTube has brought my businesses so many different leads in all my companies, whether it was real estate education, whether it was a deal for us to flip, whether it was my tax company. I get leads every single day from the videos I put out 6 months ago. So that is the power of YouTube and the search function. And if you're making these evergreen videos that are providing value no matter what's going on, you're going to get those leads as an entrepreneur. But the one thing I would add is I love YouTube, but I also still love TikTok and Instagram. To me, TikTok gives you the best chance of going viral and building an audience from nothing. I think YouTube is much harder to grow organically from zero compared to TikTok, but the whole principle of going all in on one platform is definitely true. It's hard to balance all of those things and be good at all of them.
Sure, especially starting out. And yes, TikTok is awesome because you can meet people after uploading a video weeks, months ago. The reality is sometimes when you watch longer form content, you're creating a little bit more intimacy with your viewer. Therefore, why he gets so many leads from his YouTube videos.
100%. So what do you got for tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is more or less a video idea strategy. And, many times you can run out of video ideas, especially starting out. And I would encourage you, tip number 2 would be creating frequently asked question videos. You as a business owner probably get the same general questions from people who want to start working with you, or you've worked with from the past, and you can use those questions to create videos on. And essentially, I think is just a smart way of using your time. Like, if you are answering these same type of questions, why don't you put it in a video format, upload it to YouTube, and then before somebody works with you, or if people want to learn about your product, you could send them your YouTube channel and they can learn about it before they even actually meet you, which is super, I think, just a powerful thing. My friend who does real estate in Texas, he would just send his YouTube channel out, and then when somebody would decide they want to work with him, then they can talk. But he was able to do all that without having to actually meet them in person, which I think is pretty powerful.
So I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons I wrote my book back in 2018, if you haven't read it yet, it's called Flip Your Future. But the biggest reason that I wrote it was because I kept getting asked, Ryan, how do I flip a house? What's the first step? And I got so tired of people asking the same questions over and over that I put it into a book. Honestly, I'm really happy I wrote the book, but if I could do it all over again, I would have just made a YouTube series, the course, all that stuff, because people resonate with video so much more than they do with a book. And you're going to get so many more eyeballs, and YouTube provides the free traffic. When you put out a book, hopefully it sells, but people aren't just finding your book. People are finding you on YouTube if you hit that search algorithm and, you start putting out content, YouTube just pushes you. So I totally agree with you there. You definitely want to just make videos on things you get asked all the time, because people are searching for that. And if you have the answer, when it comes time to buy, they're coming to you.
For sure. And there's no other way to position yourself as an authority than being the person who's answering the question that somebody is asking. And so it's just psychologically, that's what we do. If I'm teaching you how to grow on YouTube, people are looking at me as like the YouTube authority on how to grow. And so the reality is I just got videos on it, and it has helped people, but that's what happens psychologically when you create videos of what people are asking.
Well, and the thing is too, when I first started YouTube and I wanted to learn how to do it, I found Think Media, and I saw your channel with all of these great resources on equipment, with how to make videos, how to make thumbnails, and I was like, these guys know their stuff. They're the authority. And it just so happened you guys were in Vegas too, and so it ended up working really well. But now, anytime I have a question, I'm like, all right, what does Omar think? Because I'm not sure. I'm not, he knows all of this stuff. Like, I need to ask him. So that leads to number 3. What do you got for number 3?
Yeah, tip number 3 is to create video content for people who have yet to buy from you. And I think this comes probably in the more realm of like a real estate agent. I think some people think that when they first get into real estate, their number one form of marketing is posting their listings or posting their open houses or like video walkthroughs of the houses that they've listed. But the reality is, if you keep posting that type of stuff, it's not that helpful for somebody who's not in the market. And I've learned that about 5 to 10% of people who are in the market, whether they're buying and selling, already know who they're going to want to work with. And so trying to reach that group of people is actually a harder task, and you might find yourself never finding good leads. But the reality is, if you're educating me, this kind of goes back to kind of point number 2, but if you're educating me along the process, like what are the houses I could buy in this price range in this zip code, the reality is when I want to buy a house, I'm probably going to think of the person who's been educating me along the journey. And so it just helps you create content in a more educational manner than it is promotional, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think with the real estate agent example, another form of content you can do is teaching people how to get pre-qualified for a loan. What zip codes are appreciating the most? What's going on with supply and demand? What are interest rates doing? See, these things matter when you're still deciding whether you want to buy or not and you want to potentially get into the market. Once somebody's already put an offer on a house, all that stuff doesn't matter. Or they're already looking with an agent, they already know that stuff. So really, your target demographic is people who have not bought yet and who are just thinking about it or maybe exploring the idea.
For sure.
So let's jump into tip number 4, which is my favorite thing.
For sure. Ryan's so good at this, and that is to outsource your production/editing. You are an entrepreneur and you're a business builder, and you don't have to be the person that's absolutely doing everything. And the reality is that might put a cap on the things you're wanting to do or grow into. And so I think just something to know is that you can outsource your editing. Like, just focus on the content, and it doesn't have to be that expensive either. You can find somebody that's in your family. Maybe you know somebody who wants to grow in this, and maybe you just buy them a laptop and like it's like an intern vibe. There's so many ways around this, and also so many resources to get videos edited. But I just think sometimes entrepreneurs just want to do everything, and it can be kind of a curse to your business because you can be your very own cap to why you're not producing content.
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest things that I teach the students in my coaching program is to first understand what you do really well from the beginning and what you enjoy doing. So for me, I was always good at sales, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go make deals and get sales. What am I not good at? I'm definitely not good at bookkeeping. I'm not good at detail-oriented stuff, so I'm going to go delegate that as fast as possible. Did I do it all in the beginning? Sure, but had I delegated sooner, I would have scaled way quicker. And now, whenever I start a new business or something like YouTube, I jump straight into it from the beginning of delegating and like, hey, you know what? What do I absolutely have to do and what am I best at? Well, when it comes to video marketing, okay, I have to be on the camera. I have to be talking. Let me get good at that. But everything else, as far as editing, as far as putting it out there to the world and distributing it and all that stuff, I can delegate that. So I think that principle applies not only for video marketing, but if you guys are watching this and you're, a one-person operation in your business, start thinking about who can help you take it to the next level.
For sure. And I think that who is way more important than how, and could really speed up your flow. Personally, on Think Media, we've grown way beyond just what a YouTube channel is at face value. There's a deeper business, but there's customer service, and there's all these things that our channel initially started with Sean Cannell, starting as a solo creator. But because he's been able to think in ways of how can I dish out certain things for people that can move at a faster pace, then what we saw was just incredible growth on the channel itself.
And now you guys have over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, we just passed like 1.6 million subscribers, and it's really cool just helping everybody grow on YouTube.
And there's no way Sean could have did that by himself. There's no way you guys would be making the impact you're making. So understand that, guys. You're so limited trying to do everything yourself. It's just not good for anyone. So with that being said, let's jump into tip 5. What do you got?
Tip number 5, I think, is just an underrated skill set that I think every online, marketing entrepreneur should kind of learn, and that is live streaming. We just talked about outsourcing, video shooting and video editing. The reality is if you get into a flow of knowing how to live stream and doing it pretty well, you can almost eliminate all that process entirely, especially because the work is done when you're done filming. And so essentially live streaming is just being able to use a camera that looks pretty good. And we have a ton of content on this on our channel at Think Media. But you can literally use the camera you own and go live, and it look and sound good, and people will probably think you actually had it edited. But the reality is you just sat down one time, pre-planned in advance, and you got your video done.
I think live streaming is great, especially if you're trying to catch a trend. The
sure.
quicker you can put a video out, the better. But I also think live streaming is amazing for entrepreneurs because it gives you 2 things. Number 1, you can interact with your audience and your potential customers right there. They can ask you questions, they can get to know you better. But number 2, when you're live, you want to sell a product, you're going to sell way more of it live than if somebody is watching a video months down the road. I can tell you anytime I do an IG live or any type of live and I want to sell an event or a course or something, we sell every single time I go live because people feel more comfortable working with you if you're right there answering questions with them, handling objections, and those types of things. But anyways, those are some great tips from Omar. One thing I'll add is if you want to take your content to the next level and really generate leads online and learn how to create these videos, I actually have a social media course, which I'll link to below. It's helped tons of entrepreneurs build their brands online and in turn create more revenue for their companies. So go check it out. It's in the link below. But Omar, where can they find you?
Yep, you can find us at Think Media. That is the YouTube channel. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Omar El Takrori. But yeah, meet me up on Instagram. You can DM me. I'm usually there answering any questions you may have. But there is tons of resource on our channel. I think a lot of people don't take it for granted in the sense that it is a search library. So if you have lighting help, if you need help with live streaming, you need help with finding a camera that can work well for a beginner, we got all that stuff at Think Media, and that's the YouTube channel.
Awesome, man. Well, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks
guys,
for having me.
If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also, comment below which one was your favorite tip, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.